So today is the big day, the EXFI Snapshot, and today we're going to actually go over some of the things that you can do to prepare, what the EXFI token is, and at the end we're going to talk a little bit about strategy which you may be able to consider when the snapshot actually takes place. Over on BitTrue, we actually have the chart up here, and you can see there's been a lot of different action happening on the Songbird chart, recently topping at around 55 cents and currently hovering 10% less at around 50 cents. Now, you can expect crazy volatility to happen during the time of the snapshot, and if you know what to expect, you can actually potentially benefit from this as a result. So let's jump into the actual Medium article provided by Fleur Finance. Most importantly, when is the snapshot? And there are various dates here, and what I'm actually going to do is link this countdown in the description below so you know exactly what time it is due in your specific time zone. So that's all the time zone. For me, it's roughly 6.5 hours away at the time of recording this video. And yes, I'm very excited. So what does the snapshot actually mean? The snapshot represents a single moment in time where all of the balances of the Songbird wallets are actually recorded. And then that is used to calculate how much EXFI you will receive. Now we can see this over here on the Songbird Explorer that transactions on the Songbird network take, well, average 1.2 seconds. Now, this means that the actual recording of all the balances is going to take place on one specific block. And as these blocks take around 1.2 seconds to be completed, then you can expect the snapshot to be completed, 3-4 seconds max after the snapshot date specified. So many people are going to be trying to catch this where they get the snapshot and then sell immediately after. But we're going to talk a little bit more about strategy very soon towards the end of this video. Now, if we go here again, back to the article, what is the distribution ratio? The distribution ratio will be announced closer to the distribution date to allow the exchanges time to support the EXFI airdrop. The previous ratio of 235 Songbird per EXFI is close, but it's not exact. Exchanges that do not support before the distribution date will be moved from the distribution, effectively giving each Songbird or wrapped Songbird holder more EXFI. So this is great for us, and it really just goes to show that if you do want to participate in this airdrop, then I would highly recommend storing your assets, that's your Songbird and your wrapped Songbird, in a self-custody wallet. Now, the best free version that you can get is either MetaMask or the Bifrost wallet. Failing that, if you have a hardware device like a Ledger or a Decent wallet, please feel free to use that too. If you keep your assets on an exchange, it's somewhat of a risk. As we all know, with the Songbird airdrop, exchanges may not actually distribute it. So always best to keep your assets in your own wallet. Let's go back to the article. So here is the new logo for EXFI, or logos, should I say. I quite like them. I'm not sure which one I prefer, but yeah, they look great. What are the allocations of EXFI? So basically, there is going to be a total supply of 110 million EXFI. 40 million of that is going to the airdrop. 40 million is going to the yield cloud, which is actually going to provide some incredible passive income opportunities. We've got 20 million going to the foundation reserves, and finally 10 million allocated towards the team. Now here's something which is very interesting. How can you actually use EXFI? So if a token doesn't actually have a use case, then it is essentially worthless. But fortunately for us, EXFI is going to have many different use cases. The first one being as a fee replacement token on FleurX. Now, FleurX is actually Fleur Finance's decentralized exchange, and if we just enter a number here, you can see that there is a liquidity provider fee, and this is currently paid in Songbird here. Now, with the introduction of EXFI, you're going to have options to pay in EXFI too. So that's a great start, and just one of the many use cases. The second, to be able to use EXFI in a farm for yield in the form of SFIN on Fleur Farm. Now, SFIN is basically the really rare asset by Fleur Finance and is the primary governance token, or one of the primary governance tokens. This one is going to be very scarce, with I believe only 11,000 available, and I think this one is something to really look out for. So what do we mean by being able to farm for a yield? Well, if we go over to Fleur Farm, you can see here that you can enter various liquidity pools, and a liquidity pool is basically a way to provide assets to provide liquidity for the decentralized exchange, and you're going to be able to do this with EXFI 2, and that's the next use case. And finally, we're going to be able to use EXFI as a way to provide collateral for Fleur loans too. And here we have some additional use cases from the 4 remaining products to be released, and you can use EXFI to, first of all, purchase NFTs and participate in auctions on Fleur Drop, which is Fleur Finance's NFT platform. You're going to be able to provide coverage pools and purchase coverage on Fleur Mutual, and finally, you're actually going to be able to vote for Fleur governance and enact change across EXFI. So this is going to allow you to make suggestions and really drive the direction of the network. So let's go to this timeline here. EXFI Gamma Timeline. So on December the 12th and the 13th, which is today, a snapshot of all balances for both Songbird and Wrapped Songbird will be taken, regardless of being held in a wallet, contract, or exchange. And again, let me just reiterate the importance that exchanges may not actually distribute the EXFI token. They need to be a supporting exchange. So highly recommended that you take your assets and put them in your own wallet, and that way you are in full control. Something else which is important to note here is that it includes assets which are held in contracts. So if you're delegating, that also counts towards this snapshot. In addition, if you have any assets which are in a contract, such as a liquidity pool, and you're providing liquidity, this also counts towards the snapshot. Now, at the very start of the year, 2022, EXFI will arrive in all wallet addresses that held Songbird and Wrapped Songbird at the time of the snapshot, which is happening today. On January the 1st as well, EXFI Gamma will begin with Fleur Farms V2 and Fleur Loans V2, launching to reflect new rewards in the form of SFIN. It will support EXFI yield farming and minting Canary dollars with EXFI. So again, another use case, and I'm really looking forward to this second version of both Fleur Farms and Fleur Loans. Now we can see here as well, on the 10th of January, they're expected to finish the Halborn audit, which will be released, signaling a secure launch for Fleur Network main launch. Fleur Finance are going through extensive audits, and this is basically in preparation to make sure that their code base is very secure before they launch on the hardened Fleur network. Finally, on the 15th of June 2022, EXFI will operate on Songbird Network and is going to be redubbed or rebranded to Songbird Finance as the main point for deploying experimental finance modules in hopes of these new modules being pulled from Songbird Finance into Fleur Finance. And this just highlights the purpose of the Songbird network. It's a way for developers to test new functionality, and if it's successful, then they can bring it over to the Fleur network once it has launched. So let's talk a little bit about strategy. As I said here, we have the price trading on Bitrue, and historically, after every single snapshot, a sell-off takes place. And for me personally, I don't think that this is going to be any different. Now, knowing this information, we can actually use it to our advantage, and we have a number of different options. Now, the first option is actually to sell prior to the snapshot and basically surrender our EXFI tokens. From this, what you may achieve is definitely going to be detrimental in terms of EXFI tokens because you won't be able to receive them, but on the flip side, you may be able to sell at a higher price, and after the price pulls back, you could accumulate Songbird at a much cheaper rate, effectively increasing your allocation. Now that's just one option. The other option is to basically just hold all the way through. That's where you will maintain the same amount of Songbird, and you will also be included in the EXFI Snapshot. Just ride the wave and see what happens. Now, the final thing that I would like to introduce to you, or the idea, is this idea of arbitrage, where you could buy an asset, Songbird, on one exchange and sell it on a different exchange, but for a profit. Now, we could do this between a centralized exchange like Bitrue and a decentralized exchange like Fleur Finance's Fleur X. There will definitely be opportunities, so keep your eyes out for that. So I did actually have a section on the Fleur Finance side of things, which I've chosen to remove because these are inherently risky. There's some things what you may be able to do with the stability pool and also for taking out loans at specific times, but again, this is very risky and I don't think I'm going to deploy this strategy myself. Now, these are just some things which I'm thinking about personally. I'm still not sure about my strategy, but I am going to live stream the snapshot date and we can watch this together if you are interested. I would absolutely love to hear your strategies down in the comments below. Let me know what you're thinking, how you're going to play it. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching and good luck no matter what you try and do, and we'll see what happens. Until next time, I'm out.
Control, we have liftoff.